Coming up on this edition of Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera.
Looking back, I mean, we were right there.
Every win is important. I've worked my whole life to get to where I am right now.
I felt really good about Sam.
We have a new QB1 this week, rookie Sam Howell. I'll talk with Coach Rivera about the decision to go with the rookie and what he wants to see from him in his first start against the Cowboys. While it may be the last game of the season for Washington, it is still a beat Dallas week. Coach and Logan Paulsen will review some of the Cowboys game tape to see how we could end the season with a W. And we are going to honor a Washington legend at FedExField on Sunday. I will talk with Coach about Hall of Famer Sonny Jurgensen, and it's all coming your way right now. Coach Commands with Ron Rivera is presented by your local Honda dealer. Adventure confidently in the all-new 2023 CR-V or CR-V Hybrid, part of the Honda line of rugged vehicles, both with available all-wheel drive. Don't wait. See your local Honda dealer and find your perfect CR-V today. And welcome on in. Julie Donaldson here with the head coach Ron Rivera. And of course, Logan Paulsen is standing by to go over some of the game tape that we're going to be paying attention to getting ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll put Logan to work behind the camera as well if we ever need to. But he does a pretty good job breaking down that film with you guys. People really enjoy those sessions. He
does a great job. And a big part of it is, again, understanding what we're doing and try to do. We can really explain and give our viewers a little bit more insight. And they certainly enjoy it, and we certainly enjoy this story as well. Before we do get into that game, Damar Hamlin, awake, alert. What it absolutely could have been a terrifying situation, which was, but could have been so much worse. But the way that they responded so quickly, that this young man still has a chance. Oh, most certainly. And again, kudos to the doctors for following the protocol that they needed to and understanding what the situation circumstances was. They were able to resuscitate him and get him transported to the UC hospital. And because of that, you know, again, I really do believe it really shows just the value and the need to make sure that there is proper medical attention for players. Look, we understand how physical this game is, but it was so great to me to be able to see the beauty of everybody coming together and rallying despite whatever side that they were on or team they were rooting for, just to make sure that he has a chance to go back. Well, I think the biggest thing too is kudos goes to the two head coaches. I think Zach Taylor and Sean McDermott handled that situation about as well as it could, mostly because of their concern was for the player and for the players. And I really do kudos to those guys, because I really do think that helped the NFL get to the right decision. Let's pray you're never in that situation. Oh, hopefully. Let's talk about the situation you do have coming up and the decision that you did make there, going to rookie quarterback, once again a change. Sam Howell is going to be under center. What went into that decision? Well, you know, there were a lot of things. Initially, the thought was maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll start Taylor, have him go for a while, and then we'll bring Sam in afterwards. But one of the things we kept talking about is eventually, you know, if Sam ever gets the opportunity to be a starter, why don't we just get the first one out of the way? So we thought, you know what, let's take a look at that. And the more we talked about, the more it made sense to give this young man his opportunity to see how he handles it. So far, things have gone well. He's had really good practices. And so I'm excited to watch him play on Sunday. Does what you want to run change with him back there? No, it doesn't, because the big thing, more than anything else, is, you know, we want to commit to the running game. We want to be able to chew up some clock, you know, keep our defense off, and again, grind it out. And I think we have that ability. I think it'll open up some other things for him as well if we can do it successfully, and that is the play-action passing game. You know, it's a time coming, unfortunately, sooner than we'd like, where you do really get evaluations on the teams. And so this is a chance to really kind of evaluate Sam at that position going forward. What about some other key areas around him and on this team? How do you balance making sure you go out there with the right approach to win the game, but maybe giving some folks a really good look? We have a couple of young guys that we do really want to take a look at, especially, you know, offensive line. We want to see Chris Paul get an opportunity to play a little bit more. So we'll give him his chance, his opportunity for sure. A couple of young defensive linemen will get a little bit more work, a couple of linebackers, some of the DBs as well. I mean, one of the positions that we're feel very strongly about is wide receiver, but we're going to give some young guys. We'll get Diami out there a little bit more. We'll get Dax out there a little bit more and get a chance to see those young guys. You know, the Cowboys come in with one of the best defenses, especially at getting after the quarterback. How do you protect him in that situation, knowing that they can't get sacks on you and Micah Parsons is coming? Well, one of the big things is we've got to be able to run the ball and be able to have some success up front, because again, running the ball effectively does slow down the pass rushes. And so one of the things that our guys have worked on all week really is just being able to open up those holes. And if we can get it going, again, it'll bode well for what we want to do.
We talk a lot about the messaging that you give to the guys and to this team. It's a unique situation this week, and again, it's disappointing, I think, for everybody. But how do you keep your guys focused this week? What is that message to them?
Well, more than anything else, it's an opportunity to play one more time and play hard. It's an opportunity to set the tone and tempo going into 2023 next year. And so we've really tried to stress that, hey, let's just focus in. All we're asking is, 5 more days, 4 more days, 3 more days, 2 more days, and then game day. So let's focus in and build everything up for that and just put it all on the line and see what happens.
And it's Beat Dallas week.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Coach.
Beat Dallas.
Well, Coach heads over to meet Logan in the film room. Let's talk about the Commanders' dominant defensive line. A consistent force all season. Washington's defensive line has helped the defense record 42 sacks this season, with John Allen and Daron Payne combining for 19 of them. Allen is heading to his second straight Pro Bowl, while Payne was selected as a backup. And based on the numbers he is putting up this season, well, he is deserving of at least that honor. Payne has put up 30 solo tackles, 11.5 sacks so far, tying David Butts for the most by an interior defensive lineman in a single season in franchise history. So for more on Daron and the D-line, let's send it over to Coach and Logan in the film room. It is presented by Mavenspire. Ransomware goes 3 and out with Mavenspire's Smart as a Service cybersecurity offerings. Learn more at mavenspire.com. Logan, Coach, take it away.
Coach, always fun having you around. I know we don't want to revisit too much of the Browns game, not a great feeling, but I thought there were some really good efforts and really good things that people did. First off, let's talk about our guy, Danny Johnson. I thought he had an excellent game going up against their #1 receiver, making a ton of plays. I think people recognize the defensive line, the production they had, but I see him here jamming this up and really disrupting the timing. You see the quarterback, he wants to throw the football, and what does it mean to have a young guy, who got cut and re-signed, making plays like this for you at this point?
Well, it means a lot because first of all, Danny's a heck of a young man who really works truly at his game. Right now that they're running a slant drag combination, and again, the quarterback's got 2 guys to read off of, and both guys actually get covered. Okay, we're playing a form of one man here, I believe it is, or at least it looks it. Danny's got the X receiver. The back goes to the flat. Jamin comes out with him, and he's got nowhere to throw the ball. So again, credit to these guys, which allows the pass rush to get close to the quarterback.
And again, like you see the defensive line, they think it's a 3-step drop. The ball's got to be out here quick. Chase is kind of chilling with his rush, but again, getting the quarterback off schedule allows these guys, Montez, Chase, to kind of get in there and make these productions, and they had a very productive day overall, Coach.
They really did, and again, why this works in their favor is because when you throw away the quarterback's options, okay, on a 3-step drop, what that means is the pass rush is closer.
Right, that's a great point. Yeah, they're right in his lap, absolutely. And here is another example of what you're talking about, right? This isn't a 3-step drop necessarily, but you get an excellent, we've been talking about these all year, but they're so fun, like this TE, right? Coming around, and FA, working at that 3 technique for you. That's nice position flexibility. Does a great job here.
Well, what helps FA first and foremost is, again, he gets into the guard. He's got the guard turning his shoulders. So now what he's going to do is he's just going to ricochet off of the tackle. The tackle has no idea FA's coming. Why? Because a great job by Sweat. If he leaves early, the tackle knows there's FA, and he'll get down to pick him up, but he has no idea FA's going to show up on his shoulder.
FA, and obviously we know Deshaun Watson's very strong in the pocket, doesn't quite finish, but I love Chase finishing here. I love how he's working to the football. I love how FA gets up off the ground. Montez is chasing for the football, and it's just a mad dash to get a sack, or I guess this ends up being a pressure because he gets the ball out. But great to see Chase even running here at the end, coming off that knee, making plays. But really, Coach, and as you know, it's these guys that make this happen, right? They're in this cover 2 concept. They're matching at Tampa 2. They do a good job matching the concept. He can't get the ball out of his hands in time, and then they could easily give up on the down here, but then you get guys again saying, I got this. This is my guy. Let's cover these guys up so we can't get rid of the football.
Right, and again, because of the concept, they're playing the concept very well. What we've done is we've eliminated his initial throw. His idea was he was going to look vertical, but because we get out, we get ourselves in position, and we're forcing it for him to pull it down. Now he's got to try and scramble and make something of it. The rush is there. The rush has gotten to where it needs to be. Now it's a matter of, like you said, get that big guy down.
You got to finish him because he is a heck of a football player. But I love to see this effort and how everybody's working together and everyone's finishing this play, because this is a long down, Coach.
Yes, it is.
It feels like forever, and to get guys where they're supposed to be is fantastic, and getting that ball out. In addition to rushing the passer, you guys also played some physical football on 1st and 2nd down.
Yes.
And Chase just got back, and if I'm a tight end, I don't like this very much because he's driving me in the backfield. You get Daron Payne here working working to win on the quick swim inside and getting vertical afterwards, right? Guys just making plays, playing physical ball, setting the line of scrimmage, and then Big John Ridgeway just kind of in here taking up space and ends up making the tackle.
Absolutely. And the big thing about this, and you pointed out, is Chase gets vertical. When you set vertical edges on teams that want to run the outside zone, it forces it to go back where? Back to where the defense is. Because again, what they want to do with this outside zone is they want to stretch the defense, and so the running back can find the crease. Well, again, setting the vertical edge is so important. Chase does a nice job. He's got to cut it back. Deron is there to make to make a hit. But what happens is, again, Ridgeway's able to press off, and now he gets involved in the tackle.
And great tackle. And Coach, like we got to talk about Deron. What a day he had. He also did a fantastic job. He's just evolved so much as a pass rusher this year, right? Ability to win quickly here. Great job. And he doesn't quite get the sack, but you get a great finish here from Casey Toohill, running down a very fast, athletic quarterback. That's got to mean a lot, that kind of effort.
Well, the effort's probably the biggest thing, and that's how these guys play. They've had a good year as a defensive unit. They've done some really good things. We could have been better. We lost a couple guys, but for the most part, the guys that are playing hard.
Yeah, and I think that's got to be so important. It's something for you to build on next year. Coach, always thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
For everything you need to know about the team, do not miss our flagship show, Command Center. We have you covered all week, starting on Mondays with Fred Smoot and Logan Paulsen breaking down the highlights. Wednesdays, London Fletcher and Santana Moss take you onto the practice field for a close-up look at the team. And on Fridays, Santana and Logan are here to get you ready for game day. You can see every episode on our YouTube channel and on Commanders.com. You can also check us out on NBC Sports Washington weekdays at 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. And don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will take you inside Coach's office where he and Logan will be reviewing some of the Cowboys game tape. How do you prepare for guys like Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons? They will discuss. And we are honoring a Washington legend at the game tomorrow afternoon. We'll look back at Sonny Jurgensen's Hall of Fame career a little later on Command Center. Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. Welcome back. It is time for some healthy competition presented by Ortho Virginia, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of the Washington Commanders. Now here's a look at how these two teams match up on paper. The Commanders are still 1 win away from collecting their most wins in a season since 2016, which was also the last season Washington finished with a non-losing record. Now leading the offense this week will be Sam Howell. Here's Coach Rivera on his decision at quarterback.
I spoke with the coaches, talked to some of the team leaders, and and talked with some others about it. And we feel that this is an opportunity for us to give Sam a chance to show us what he's capable of. I think that the opportunity is going to be a good one for him to go out and play football and just kind of show us. I mean, we're not going to judge everything on Sam based on just one game. We are going to get an opportunity to see him and see how he prepares and gives himself the opportunity to play.
The last time Washington faced the Cowboys, they did not face Dak Prescott as he was injured. And preparing for Prescott is a lot different than preparing for Cooper Rush. So what is it that makes Dallas's offense and defense so formidable? Well, let's go into the game tape with Coach and Logan Paulsen. This is the Rivera Review, presented by DC Prime. All stakes are not created equal.
Coach, got a familiar opponent this week with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you played them once earlier this year, and they haven't changed a whole bunch, but they do some things that I think are interesting, kind of unique to them, right? In this first clip here, they run a lot of 5-man front, Coach. I just wanted you to talk about, because we run a lot of 5-man front, about some of the advantages of it, and then they run a lot of stunts out of this front as well, and like, what are they trying to get out of it, and then what makes it challenging to deal with?
Well, one of the interesting things is really the whole concept behind their 5-man front is some people think it's just to bring 5 guys and get them vertical. The truth is, those 5 guys are all really just gap fillers in terms of trying to stop the run, forcing you to have to throw the football, and then they can attack the quarterback really is what they want to do in terms of their philosophy. But in this particular instance, one of the things that you're going to see is they're bringing all 5 guys. Right. Okay, so because they're bringing all 5 guys, as far as the center's concerned, quarterback's concerned, they're going to ID this as 5 downs. Right. Each one of the big guys should have a big guy that's rushing.
The offensive lineman, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then they'll go from there.
Yeah. And then, again, it kind of gives you one-on-one matchups, right, which I think is kind of common knowledge, especially with a guy like Micah Parsons, who's pretty dynamic, right, which is a big deal. Is there any way you can kind of manage how effective this can be for them?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I like what they're trying to do as far as what Philadelphia did here, and that's try to get the ball out quick.
Right.
The hard thing, the thing that both the receiver and the quarterback have to remember is that ball has to get up and down very quickly. And I'm not quite sure if this is what they teach as far as coming back inside, but see how he starts to climb a little bit? He's coming back to the cover guy.
Oh,
instead of staying just a little bit more flat, you'd like to think.
11, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I think the ball could have gotten out a little bit sooner.
Yeah, he's kind of waiting on it here. Yeah. Another thing they do here, Coach, which again I think is very unique to them, is they run this. I guess it's a TT or an NT, whatever it is, and they do it on running downs too, right? And so, what are they looking at? Are they just looking to pick double teams, or is there something else?
What they do is that they play the run on their way to the passer.
I see.
Okay, so again, the idea behind it is if we're running stunts, we fill the gaps.
Right.
And then the linebacker has to make them correct.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so again, if you got 5 guys coming, they're running line stunts, and you really look at it right now. So if they ran the ball, where would they have to run the ball?
Yeah.
It's good. See how everybody's got a gap.
Yes.
Now, if that ball were to be handed off, it would have to wind all the way back up over to here because this gap is the only truly uncovered gap.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really part of the process. Second thing, though, is because they're running the line stunts with the attitude of, hey, we're getting vertical into our gaps, and then what we're going to do is we're going to play the run. Look how much closer they are to the passer as the ball's getting released.
Right, yeah, it gives them an advantage in that. And obviously you might have some new pieces playing this weekend. Is there anything specifically you say, or just we all got to be on the same page?
We have to be on the same page. Once the call's made, we have to anticipate and understand that these are the things that could happen, and this is how we have to react to it.
Yeah, so obviously that's going to be a big part of their defensive philosophy. Offensively, I think people kind of sleep on the fact that they are a run-first football team.
Yeah, they are a run-first football team. And the thing that's kind of interesting for it, though, is that, again, they have a quarterback that has some mobility, which adds another dimension. And the thing you have to be always concerned is that anytime he goes like this, there's always that chance for an RPO.
I see.
And that slows down the pass rush. That tends to slow down the linebacker movement as well. And that's why, again, I think they become very dangerous if your linebackers aren't reacting properly.
Well, kind of to your point, Coach, I mean, Tennessee obviously felt the same way in terms of how dangerous they can be. And they start bringing this, what I call a run stunt. I mean, this is first down, and you're bringing this blitz here to the left side of the formation to stop the run. I mean, is there any? I mean, you guys have been excellent at that all year. Like, probably you don't need to do anything like this because there are pros and cons to bringing run stunts.
Right, but again, if you're gonna do specific things, you have to understand what's going on. Well, here in a situation like this, is every gap is taken, but the backside left a gap. Okay, so what you would almost anticipate is, as a linebacker, you should be coming downhill right now. Even though 70 has gotten vertical up, right?
Yes.
50 should be beating him to the A gap.
Yeah.
Okay, because again, with the line stunts and with what they're doing, that can be eliminated.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach, I mean, I really enjoy these sessions, and unfortunately this may be our last one, but I really appreciate all the insights you bring, and I had a ton of fun.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Now we want you to be there to cheer on your Commanders in their final regular season game of the season and witness the Sonny Jurgensen's number 9 jersey retirement ceremony at halftime. Visit commanders.com/tickets to get yours today. Now on game days, do not miss Command Center Game Day Live, the official pregame show of the Washington Commanders. We're live on the air starting 2 hours before kickoff, so that is 2 p.m. tomorrow for our matchup with the Cowboys. You can watch on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. And after the game, don't miss Command Center Postgame Live for reaction, analysis, and interviews with Head Coach Ron Rivera. You can also find that on YouTube. Take command of your game days. Now keep it here, because when we come back, we're looking back at Sonny Jurgensen's winning legacy here in Washington ahead of his jersey retirement ceremony at tomorrow's game. That is next on Command Center Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. It is time for a winning legacy presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast with new Fast Play games from the Maryland Lottery. You want to talk about a winning legacy here in Washington, then we have to talk about quarterback Sonny Jurgensen. During his career, Sonny was a Pro Bowler 5 times. He led the NFL in passing yards 5 times and led the league in passing touchdowns twice. Sonny played for legendary coaches Vince Lombardi and George Allen in Washington and is a member of our Ring of Honor. And tomorrow, we'll have his number 9 jersey retired, a deserved honor for a living legend.
I looked on coming to the Redskins as a new start, an opportunity to start fresh again with a new organization. And also coming with the Redskins was an opportunity to play for a team that I had grown up just seeing on television, because the Redskins were the only team that you really got to see in the South, being from North Carolina. Here was a team that I was coming to have that opportunity to play with them and to be their quarterback.
It's going to be a great day seeing that number 9 go up to the rafters. He's going to have about 50 family members in attendance as well to be able to celebrate this. It's been a long time coming, but when you hear the name Sonny Jurgensen, what do you think of, Coach?
Redskins quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Growing up, again, I've said it before, I grew up a Redskin fan, and getting an opportunity to cheer for Sonny Jurgensen, Billy Kilmer, and then Joe Theismann. Those were the quarterbacks that I followed growing up, and this was one of the teams I did follow. So I agree with you. This is a great honor for him.
It's absolutely one of the best that did play here for Washington, which is why we are doing this. But the fans are going to be there, and a lot of them looking forward to honoring Sonny. What message, though, do you have for them here as the season closes out?
We really appreciate them. We really do. I mean, their support this year throughout my 3 years here has been really good, and it's been growing, and we're going to continue to try and be the football team that deserves to have them there for us. We've got to show it by playing and winning. That's one of the things that we worked on. I think we got ourselves into a pretty good spot at one point. Unfortunately, we couldn't sustain it, but I do believe that's all part of our growth process.
All right. Hopefully something great to cheer for on Sunday.